In 2011, I was diagnosed with liver cancer. I was given no hope back then. I was told it was inoperable because it was in such a sensitive area around the bile duct tubes. And I was just given sleeping tablets and told, I'm so very sorry, you're going to need these. Uh, phew. I remember getting on a bus that day in a daze, looking at people laughing and chattering away, and I wanted to scream at them, I've got cancer, you know. And I was just in, oh, it was just cancer, cancer, cancer swirling around my head constantly, cancer. I found myself in a card shop that day and I bought a load of cards, goodbye cards for friends, family. Came home and just sat writing them out all day, crying, looking at the clock. It seemed like, oh God, took forever for Rob to come home. I just needed to tell somebody. I didn't want to tell Rob because at that time he'd had a breakdown. He wasn't well after losing his parents within 3 weeks of each other. The stress of that, he couldn't handle it. But as soon as he walked in that door, I just fell into his arms, and it's incredible how suddenly he switched on. He started to focus on me and not himself, and his depression started to go. He became Rob again, which was incredible. He immediately went out and bought me bags full of organic fruits, veg, nuts, berries, goji berries, and apricot kernels. The bitter apricot kernels, wow, they gave me so much hope. The reason for that, I had watched Philip Day's documentaries, and I started to read his book Cancer Why We're Still Dying to Know the Truth, and I'd read about the kernels in there, and suddenly I started to get hope, which I hadn't got back then at first. And the fear started to leave me. I don't know how long that took. It was weeks. But once that fear leaves your head and you start to have hope and positivity, that's halfway to healing, I would say. Because when you have something to work for, something to work with, like getting into this protocol, I started to believe that I had a chance, and that was better than nothing, you know. And I mean, at first, I remember screaming and crying, and I can't eat this, I can't have that. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what to cook, and I was taking it out on Rob all the time, moaning and groaning, and moaning about the kernels at first because I didn't like them at all. And it's quite funny because back then Rob caught me just swallowing them. I didn't want to chew them. And he told me I must chew them for as long as I can before I swallow them, which I got into in the end. We started juicing lots of, I mean, it's difficult at first because you've drinking greens, it's an acquired taste, same as the apricot kernels. But as time went on, your taste buds seem to change and you start to enjoy this stuff. I added things like apples or pears, which are low glycemic, into the juices alongside a bit of ginger and lemon, that sort of thing, to try and liven them up a bit. And I could cope with about 4 a day, I would say. I'm never going to say I did the same as Gerson. I could never do that. Well, I could, but I didn't. I had about 4 glasses a day. The things that we're used to eating, the amount of rubbish, the chemicals that are in all the supermarket foods, processed foods, it's incredible. And people just don't realise. So I had to spend a lot more time in the kitchen. I got a lot more gadgets. It just makes life easier, you know, blenders, juicers. I bought spiralizer, things to make life easier. And and it was hard at first because we're brought up believing that bread, cheese, ham, milk are all good for us, and you're suddenly having to change the way you eat. And it is hard at first, but then I started buying lots of cookery books and learning which foods to avoid and adapting, making changes to the recipes in the books, and it became easy, really easy. I grow a lot of herbs in my garden, and I see all herbs anti-cancerous, packed full of minerals, vitamins, and so I started including as many herbs as possible in my salads and my juices. Mint's lovely in juices. Eating lots of coriander. I cook curries probably 3 times a week. But I do have lots of salads alongside cooked meals, and they're big salads. And you can create some amazing salads if you've got the time. You have to make time to just pack as much into you as you can. I found within, weeks of going on this, my energy levels just incredible. I mean, before I was diagnosed, I had lost 1.5 stone in weight. I'd got no appetite and I had pains in my stomach when I was eating. Within 3 months, the pains went, which was just unbelievable. I went back for my scan. My 3rd MRI scan showed that the liver tumour, I expected it to be shrinking. And when we sat there with the oncologist, he said it suggests it's scar tissue now. And we just couldn't believe what he was saying to us. It's like, it was just surreal again. You know, we came out of there and I just wanted to jump around and scream and laugh, and it was unbelievable. I still continued to eat good. The apricot kernels I still continue to chew on because as a preventative, I really believe they were a great part of the armoury. This is all 7 years ago now, and I've not been back for a checkup because I don't want to be in the system if I can help it. I mean, I'm not stupid. If I had something life-threatening or something that needed to be checked, I would. But as far as having my liver checked, I've not been back for that. Since he said it's scar tissue, that was enough for me. I don't want to be in the system where they put so much fear into people with their appointments and waiting for scans, and it's just me. That's what I decided to do. I didn't want nothing to do with the hospital if I could help it. And 7 years on, I'm still here, which is whoop whoop. And so I just can't believe it. It's since this happened, Rob and I, we set up a active cancer therapy support in Nottingham, and we've been holding meetings talking about nutrition, health, and how many of us have time to go down the natural route and give it a go before being rushed into treatments. We talk to so many people that they're literally frightened to death. The fear that's put into their heads by their oncologists is just, it's disgraceful. But what we're seeing over the years, other people are starting to get better that we know. And we encourage everyone to come and talk about it or when they've got better, to share their story with everyone else in the group. And the positivity in our groups is just incredible, because people, when they've got no hope, they're living in limbo. And yet there is hope. There's so much hope for people out there. We have Ron Nixon that he bless him, he he's come to quite a few meetings and he's let me film him, which I've put out on Facebook. And he was given no hope. He was given 4 months to live. Gosh, I think it's 4 years ago now. And he got lung cancer, terminal lung cancer. And he's not got it anymore, which I think alongside a lot of the alkaline diet, he also included cannabis oil with THC and CBD. And you never know what's worked for people, but that's a great part of the armoury. And he's got other health issues, but he's not got lung cancer anymore, which is amazing. People like Emma, she used to be Emma Collins, so I keep thinking of her as that. She's recently married John, her husband, who had kidney cancer that went to his lungs. And I think he had about 15 tumours, if I remember correctly. And she got him to, well, first of all, she brought him to our meeting, and he was inspired by Bernie Welsh, who had also done really well. And bless her, she's passed away now. But Bernie inspired John to start this diet. And Emma was really strict with him, bless her. And he got better. He's no longer got lung cancer. And they got married last year, and Rob and I went to the wedding. It was just, we're meeting some amazing people. I just want everyone to know, when you're diagnosed, don't feel that there's nothing you can do. There is loads you can do. Pack everything into your diet that will nourish you and help your body heal. All our bodies are they're amazing. They just need help. You know, we're living in such a toxic world that it's no wonder that so many people are becoming ill. You must try and eat clean. Get a few vitamins down you, especially vitamin D, being as we get no sunlight in England very, very rarely. We know why that is, but that's for another video, I think. There's so much I want to share, but I'll leave it at this for now. But thanks for watching, and I hope if we're on Facebook and people can private message, they can call us if they want to. We can even meet up with people locally if you need help with your diets and lifestyle changing. And thanks for listening. Bye for now.